It's Vernisa, and I'm here to speak up. It's time to speak up. Hello, everyone. My name is Vernisa, and this is my podcast, Speak Up. Hope you guys are all having a great week out there. For those of you that don't know, I originally started this podcast with my best friend, and our mission statement is to motivate people to overcome life's challenges through self-love and respect. Before I get started with tonight's episode, a quick shout out to my amazing sponsors. Shout out to My Bar, located at 720 East Manchester in Inglewood, California. Get your nails, your lashes, your hair done. Ask for mine. Tell them that SpeakUPJV sent you. The Instagram is at nyy.bar. And also another shout out to Be Actual Natural. Why settle for less? All their products created with you in mind for a goal to get your self-love show through your self-care. The chemical-free hair and skincare products are handmade, plant-based, and free of fillers or preservatives. Treat yourself while taking care of yourself. Start your journey at www.beactual.com, and the Instagram is at beactualnatural. So, yes, I hope you guys are having a great week so far. We're in a new month, fresh start. Look, middle of the year. Look, I hope you guys are accomplishing your goals one by one and making the rest of this year count. I'm very juiced for tonight's episode. It's actually a great friend of mine since college, and real big in the media world. I'm really happy to have her on this platform. Y'all give it up for Sequoia, Holmes, creator, and she's also the creator of Black People Love Paramore. I can't say it correctly.
You're good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yes, girl, juice is what we do.
Yes, for real.
Yes, welcome. Yeah, it's funny. We used to always make jokes in college about our voices and all this stuff. Call each other deep voice sisters, and we out here podcasting together. We was talking about this before the wave of podcasts.
We sure did. We've been talking about this since like 2017. Like we've been talking about this for a long time. I'm glad that we're both doing it. Like I'm proud of us.
Yeah, and sticking to it too. So
truly,
it makes me so happy. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your podcast.
I have a podcast called Black People Love Paramore, where every episode I talk about one topic or idea that large groups of Black people like that mainstream media doesn't necessarily associate with Black people, like the band Paramore. But also, we've talked about ginger ale, we've talked about Tony Hawk, the TV show The Hills, and stuff like that. Degrassi, yeah.
Love Degrassi.
It's a pop culture podcast. Yeah, I know that you're a Degrassi girl. That was our shit. Yeah,
you know. Yeah. I've seen you do the episode about Selena, like something like that.
Yep, something like that. Selena, all the pop culture stuff that we know that we like, but mainstream media don't be showing us liking. And I was like, why would I wait for mainstream media to see us when I could see us and I can make us feel seen with my own platform? I don't have to wait.
I like that. And it doesn't keep us in a box that, because I'm Black, I like a certain amount of type of music or certain type of show. So you're definitely, I don't know, I love the narrative that you're putting out there. The real narrative.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes. And you also write too. Talk a little bit about that, your blogs, obviously your postings and stuff. What got you in the media? What got you into writing, all that, podcasting?
I feel like podcasting and writing has always come super natural to me. Like, communicating is just a passion of mine and always has been. So whatever medium I can communicate using, I'll use it. If that is a microphone, I will use it. If that is a pen, I will use it. If that is a camera, I will use it. It doesn't really matter. Communicating is my thing. And so that's what I do.
You're definitely really good at it.
Thank you.
I love when you post a new blog or something. I'm like, oh, she write about this type in the topics.
Thank you. I'll be trying. I haven't written in a minute because podcasting has taken over my life, but I'll be trying.
Right, and I feel like podcasting is somewhat like writing and blogging because we're expressing it a different way.
Exactly, 100%. They're so akin. They're so similar. If you can podcast, you can write, and I know that you can write. So yeah,
we here doing this together. So right. What is your favorite thing about being in the media?
I just like being able to express myself freely, specifically, because there was a period in time when I wanted to write for a publication or something like that. And so I was pitching to publications and writing for publications, but I hated that someone could tell me no. Like, no, I don't like that idea. Like, I don't think that you should write it. That's not going to work for me. I need to be able to express myself. So that is my favorite part. And being an independent an independent. That's my favorite part of being an independent media person, is that I can do what I want to do and say what I want to say, and I do.
Yeah, and I was literally just about to say that. Like you have your own control to put those topics out. Like, why limit yourself to what someone says you have to write about when it's like you have these topics that you're passionate about, that you want to speak about.
Exactly.
And put out there.
Right.
So, what makes your podcast in particular stand out from others?
Ooh, I don't know. I really don't know what it can do for others. I've not come across a podcast that it has the same tone as mine, I guess. Mm-hmm. I've run across podcasts that are like have similar subject matter. There's this one podcast called Black Bubblegum that takes about like takes a black lens to pop cultural things. So like they'll talk about Britney Spears and how Black people love Britney Spears, and it's a big portion of a lot of Black people's young experience. But I haven't seen one that goes from anime to Tony Hawk to Ariana Grande to Degrassi, and like a good blend of feminine and masculine topics, and everywhere in between.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say yours is very different. And I love, one thing I like about your podcast, you keep it the OG style. Like, I think people think with a podcast it has to be all this equipment, this and that. I love the focus of your podcast. It's on the person, it's just on who's talking, you and your guests. Mm-hmm. Y'all got the microphones. It's kind of like what we're doing in this moment.
Right.
And it's just sticking to what we're saying. A lot of mainstream podcasts today, like, they have all these backgrounds, this, and this, and it's like they're not really saying anything. And it's like, and I try to tell people, I'll cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. If my closet wasn't so dirty, you would be seeing my closet, because normally I'm in my closet recording. My boyfriend was taking a shower, which is next to my closet. And I'm like, I don't want to hear the water pressure from the in the closet. So it's really, we roughing it out here, but we're doing it out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're definitely doing it. And I think it just takes away, because I explain to people all the time, original podcasting is really just your voice.
It is.
There was no video, it was audio, and it's like people would listen to you speak for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So the fact that, like, I feel like you keep the regular version of like, no, you're gonna hear what I'm saying. I think that's another way your podcast stands out.
Oh, thank you. I miss the days when it was just voice. I'm so tired of having to think about video and putting videos up on YouTube and like trying to make myself presentable to go and talk to y'all. Like, please, enough.
Like, ain't nobody doing all that.
But I be doing all that and I hate it.
Yeah, we hear us.
Right.
So, I have a question. Elaborate more on your motto, helping Black people feel more seen.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I just felt like I didn't love the fact that we were being put in a box by mainstream media. And I want to emphasize this point here. It's not like stereotypes are always wrong, or that I'm like pushing against stereotypes so much. That's not it. It is that stereotypes are incomplete. The story is incomplete. Yes, and do I like a lot of stereotypically Black things? Yes. Do I also like a lot of other things? Yes. Is every Black person like that? Yes, because we are multifaceted. That's the point. In the way that white people get to have their individualism, they're not looked at as like, oh, you're white, so you like X, Y, and Z. I mean, kind of, but not like severely like Black people are. I feel like we deserve the same individualism. So I'm going to highlight the individualism.
Oof. Well, that was well said. Individualism. That goes with tonight's episode too. So tonight's episode is titled "Love to Stand Out." So playing on words off yours, Black people love Paramore. It's the same. I had to play with the title a little bit. So it is time for our accept. So tonight's accept question of the night is: are you afraid to stand out? So I'm going to go ahead and answer that. I'm going to say no. I feel like growing up, I've always embraced who I was. Like, if I wanted to wear my big hoop earrings, have my hair a certain way. Mm-hmm. At one point I had blonde hair, things like that. If I wanted to do something, I did it. I was always the type that never wanted to follow the crowd. Like if I genuinely didn't like something, I just didn't roll with it. If I like something, I'm like, okay, this is where I'm at. Right. And going off music and stuff, I love all types of music. You'll catch me bumping. I still bump NSYNC, Backstreet, all that, and I'll be over there bumping it loud.
Absolutely.
Whatever move that I'm in, like whatever my spirit wants, that individualism. So that's my answer for that. So if you're, when you guys are listening, I know this episode isn't live, please comment. Are you afraid to stand out? We'd love to hear your responses. What about you though, Sequoia? Are you afraid to stand out?
I don't think I'm afraid to stand out. I think maybe there was a point when I felt a little bit of anxiety around standing out, but I've never been so afraid that I didn't do it anyways. Maybe around middle school time, it was like, oh, like this is uncomfortable, but I still did it because it's who I am. I've always stood out a little bit, like we talk about. My voice has always been this deep. When I was in, fourth grade, I sounded like this. I've always just been different. I was one of very few Black people in a lot of spaces, and it just is what it is. I was born standing out.
Oof, well said. Yeah, I remember you, having on social media, you always post like throwback pictures of you.
Yeah,
I could tell you was like, I'm standing down. This is who I am. Yeah, I thought you always embraced who you were, even in college. So
yeah.
And college was an interesting time, trying to learn who we were and find yourself.
Especially at the college we went at, it was just a lot.
I brought that. I had that topic tonight, so we will be touching up on that a little bit. Yes. Great. So let's talk about now. So tonight's episode, I said, is love to stand out. So tonight's episode is really about the importance of allowing yourself to feel seen. When I reading your motto, that really stood out to me. I'm like, as a Black person, do I feel seen, or how do I allow myself to feel seen? Have I ever felt unnoticed? Have I ever felt silence? Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to allow yourself to feel seen. I think there's times when even the spotlight is purposely placed on us, and we're like, oh no, we're probably not used to being seen in certain cases. So you're in a time where it is time to blossom. It can be difficult sometimes.
That is a really good point. That is very true. Sometimes, I was just tweeting about this actually. The fear of success is such a real thing.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. The fear of being seen, of being visible, of having so many eyes on you is sometimes terrifying, and therefore causes people to self-sabotage or not try at all. Like just decide like no. And I get it because it is fucking scary, but
you gotta kind of
we gotta do it. You gotta do it. I don't know.
Right? And like I feel like this goes with tonight's episode, because that this platform talks about that self-confidence, and I think we have to dig deep within and figure out what is that blockage that stops us from allowing ourselves to feel seen in certain environments. Yeah, so let's talk about some ways that a person can feel unnoticed in society. I think a big one is it goes off your topic of your podcast, like when you have different interests in the crowd.
Yeah.
And what people think you should listen to. I think sometimes you feel unnoticed because you're not fitting in, because this group of people want to listen to this type of music or watch these types of shows.
Right. People try to tell you who you are, and that's annoying as fuck. Like, I remember one time in middle school, I had this white teacher who told me I was white for listening to My Chemical Romance or something. Like, how are you, white man, gonna tell me, Black girl, who I am because of something that I'm doing? It's like they're trying to strip you or me of individualism and telling me, oh, here's the monolith that you belong to, behave as such. I don't want to be silenced. I'm going to be seen. I'm going to be me. That's it.
Especially when music comes, when you look at the roots of it. Yeah, like I remember I took a pop class at Santa Cruz, and it talked about like literally the roots of certain music. And I'm like, yeah, how are you judged for listening to a type of music that is a topic we're going to talk about? Our challenges going to a predominantly white university versus, me and you also spent some time in DC. So, being in Chocolate City for some time, the differences between that, like, for our college experience, this is huge. I feel like it goes with being seen, feeling noticed and stuff. I'll start with that. I felt muted in class a lot. Silence in class a lot. Like sometimes I feel like I'll say something, like I'll raise my hand, but then I had to elaborate where I got that information from. And then another student will raise their hand and it was like, it's okay. Or I felt something was hard for me. I had trouble raising my hand in college.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
Oh, I definitely get that. It feels very uncomfortable to draw attention to yourself when you're already so visible because you are one of very few people that look like you in a certain space. It's uncomfortable. It's like, I already feel like I don't belong here. I don't want to take this chance and raise my hand and maybe say something that's a little bit wrong and then be ridiculed by or give truth to what I think these people already think about people like me and people who look like me anyways.
Yeah. That's huge. And I feel like when I did a little bit of time in DC, which was like, wow, I saw more of me out there. I'll say that. I definitely felt more noticed and seen.
Me
more
too.
Like I could literally be myself where, you know what I mean? Wherever I wanted, really was like able to find myself in a different lens.
Same.
And I was literally having education out there, so doing some schooling out there as well. You definitely see the difference, and it really depends on which environment you're in. It makes a big deal.
Fully agree with that 100%. It's such a difference. Every time I leave the East Coast in general, I would even say, because we grew up in California. So, it was all I knew for the first 20 years of my life, California. And then I went to the East Coast for the first time and I was like, oh shit, like I am perceived so differently out here. I am received so differently out here. It's wild. It's startling. And then you realize just how oppressed, for lack of a better word, you have been, or suppressed even, for a long time.
And didn't even know it though.
And didn't even know it. Was just having the experience, thinking this is normal. People treating you a little bit less than what you should be treated. And then you go somewhere else where you're treated great and you're like, oh shit, this is what life can be.
Yeah, and I think too, a lot of economic things have a lot to do with it. I think being around people who are more economically privileged, you don't know how to, we were young, and it's like how, seeing them, I'll say this, how like certain words were articulated, certain education, I saw the gap in that versus like when I went to high school with people I just knew and grew up with.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, so that's a big, I had to bring it up because we went to the same school. So let's talk a little bit to our experiences being Black women in media. I'll start off. I feel like so far it's been great because I feel like me and my best friend created a platform together. So we were just talking about this before we went live about the importance of creating your own and the power that it comes with that self-expression versus like someone kind of telling you how to operate or things like that.
Certainly. I wholeheartedly agree with that. The whole goal is to have your own thing where nobody can tell you, like, no, you can't do that or say that or behave like that,
Yeah, so it's, and have you experienced anything, with the type of show that you have and being a Black woman? Has there been anything memorable?
Yeah. It's been a couple things. One, someone left some racist reviews. A few people left some racist reviews on my podcast, calling me a monkey and just like other racist stuff. And I made a TikTok about it, being like, hey guys, there's some racist reviews on here. And that TikTok blew the fuck up. And so many people came to my podcast, found out about my podcast from that TikTok in particular, and the support and the outpour of loving messages that I got, loving reviews that I got. People reported that review. I didn't even know how to get a review removed from Apple, but people who saw my TikTok did, and they had that shit removed. And they put like great stuff. So Black people gonna come through for other Black people. That's the thing. That's the big thing. They were like, oh, we're not letting that happen. It was crazy.
Oh my goodness. And like, I just love the fact that there was awareness brought to what happened.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to have your self-expressive podcast. You're not harming anybody, nothing like that. You just putting out your content, your perspective.
Right.
So it's unfortunate to know that like people, motherfuckers is bold still doing stuff like that. Very
bold, behind a screen name, behind a muted avatar. Well, I don't know who you are. Calling me a monkey and the N-word and all types of stuff.
No, that's uncalled for. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, girl. You had to go through that, especially on your platform. Like, no. But look, the community came through. They did. Everywhere. So, and I just feel like too, you're doing something right. If there's like a hater somewhere doing something, so
and there's lots of haters. They're like, your show's so racist. Like, why are you talking about just Black people? Like, because we're not talked about like that in mainstream media. We're only seen one way. I'm trying to expand past that. And, sometimes.
And that's the niche of your show.
That's the niche of my show. It's not for everybody.
Show, that's what they're talking about.
Right. And like, obviously everybody's welcome to listen to the show, but I'm specifically centering a group of people who is consistently not centered, who is othered all the time, who feels othered, who feels uncomfortable raising their hand in college, that type of thing.
That's a big one. That's a real big one. So, and going off of that, let's talk about feeling seen and embracing how unique you are. I think it's beautiful when you can embrace how unique you are and how you don't fit in, and that's okay. Sometimes we use our uniqueness to hide ourselves. We use it as a reason to hide ourselves. I'll say that. And I think that's more of a reason to stand out and want to stand out.
I agree. 100%.
You know, we can't be afraid of things that make us stand out. Like, you know, we make jokes about our deep voices, but look how this is something to get paid off of. This is something to make an impact on a platform to use. There's power in this.
For real.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to get teased for my deep voice and stuff. But then as I became a woman, people compliment my voice. They're like, you have a voice I could listen to all day. Some
all
people,
the time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, for that little joke, that unique trait, there's something beautiful in it.
100%. Oh my God, that's such a beautiful word. Probably everything else is like that too. Your little uniqueness, things that made you uncomfortable as a kid, it's probably what's going to make you special and stand out later in life.
Exactly. So I'm past that at this point.
Oh yeah, we passed that. We're good. We're good over here. Thank you.
Yeah. So what message do you want people to take from your podcast?
I just hope they feel proud of who they are. They don't feel alone. They find community. Yeah. And that they understand that you're allowed, not that you needed my permission, but you're allowed to be exactly who you are. Nothing more, nothing less. You don't have to put on airs for anybody or conform to anything that you're being told you have to be. You have to be you because there's only one you, and that's it.
Oh, that was well said. I know you already doing it right now.
I'm trying. I'll be trying.
Yes. So it is time for the tweet up segment. So y'all know that I love these light to shine. So, you know, in the day, the more you let your light shine, the more it allows you to tap more into your purpose.
Yeah.
So a part of that uniqueness and this and that is your light. You know, like our voices are light. You know, the people are gonna listen to you speak. All those things go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I've been learning to like let it shine regardless and not worry about other people and what they think.
Yes, 100%. I feel that.
Trying to figure out how to. Yeah. So and also too, it brings awareness to your creative side as well. So I feel like when you're not scared of your light, you're not afraid of your creative side. You know,
100%.
The more we're in that box, you know, being scared, being like, we're not going to tap into those things because we're like, what's the point of using these gifts if I'm afraid of them?
100%. Yeah. One, ideally, you won't be afraid of your gifts or your light or your shine. But if you are, do it scared. I've heard that a bunch of times. Do it scared. You have to do it anyways, even if you are kind of scared.
Do it scared. I like that. Because you're going to be scared if it don't work out anyway.
Oh my God, because if it don't work out, you're just going to what if yourself to death. So do it scared. If it don't work out, it don't work out. Move on. We can always pivot, but you cannot get your time back that you didn't do it.
That's real right there. So has there ever been a time in your life where you felt unseen? If so, how did you overcome it?
I felt unseen a lot of middle school, actually. In middle school, I went to a predominantly white middle school. They decided that they weren't going to call me by my name, Sequoia. They were going to call me Shaniqua because that's what they decided my name was. So pretty much the entirety of middle school, they refused to call me by my name and they just called me by that name instead. That made me feel unseen, like I couldn't even have my own name. Like I didn't get to determine who I was. I didn't get to determine my identity. The kids around me determined that I was Shaniqua, and whatever they determined a Shaniqua would do or was or whatever. So that, and then I overcame it. I just moved on. I moved on. You know, I was like, I moved on and I'm doing better than those people. And that is how I overcame it. And I understand that like middle school is middle school and everybody did foolish stuff in middle school. And I'm sure these people are not the same people they were in middle school. Nevertheless, I'm still doing better.
We're going to claim it. So manifest this. If you can work with someone in the media, who would it be?
Issa Rae.
Oh, love it. That was a beautiful answer. I love that. I feel like she would love to work with you too. So
you know, like I'm like, I feel like this is a natural synergy here. Come on, Issa.
Just come through. She's not that far either. So come on.
Right.
Yeah. So it is time for our Life Up segment. So tonight's Life Up segment, this is where I take the topic and relate it to today's world, like a problem in today's world. So tonight's Life Up is dealing with the effects of being silent. Oof, it's huge. I feel like when you're silent, you end up falling. You fall into a thing where you kind of stop believing in yourself.
Yeah.
You don't want to go on. You don't want to do anything. Like I talked about when I was like silent, I felt silence in those classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it affected my grades. It affected my participation. It affected my confidence in going into these. Because my experience of college is supposed to be supposedly a happy experience, which it was. You know what I mean, to an extent.
Yeah.
But it definitely it did that. And then when you don't feel heard, you're gonna stop talking.
Right. Ooh, that's a word. When you don't feel heard, you're gonna stop talking. Mm-hmm.
And once you stop talking, I feel like that's when there's a dim on your purpose.
Yeah. Ooh, that's real. That is very real.
Yes. Another topic I want to bring up too is the rise of individuals, especially people of color, not wanting to come out of their shell. And I think, like I said, I'm going to say this again, your podcast is very important because some of our shells do look different.
They do.
You know what I mean? And I think it's okay to embrace that different shell, even if it doesn't look how, like you said, the statistic or what society thinks we should be listening to or doing.
Absolutely. Like, embrace who you are, be who you are. Because again, nobody else can be you. Only you can be you. And you don't know what gifts you can bring to the world if you're so busy trying to be what somebody else tells you are or be somebody else in general. You gotta be you.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And so a question for you, what advice would you give to a person who wants to come out of their shell?
Ooh, this is a hard question for me because I don't feel that I've struggled to come out of my shell in general. I feel like it's always been natural to me. So it's difficult for me to understand what might be happening in the brain of somebody who it's not natural for them to come out of their shell, Because my response would be just do it. And that is so insensitive because like, oh, you thought I haven't thought of that? Just do it,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's a hard one. A good question, but a hard one. What do you think, Bernice?
I would say taking the time to get to know yourself. So I think the more you know who you are, you get that comfortability with yourself.
That's real.
You'll be more comfortable to do so. Because I feel like when I was younger and I was in that, I didn't know who I really was. I was just too busy but once I got more into that, I'm like, okay, this is who I am. And like, I'm gonna let that shine. So I think I love your honest answer. Because some people do naturally just do it. And a lot of it has to do with how we were brought up as well too.
Yeah.
Like if some people, their parents instilled confidence in them at a younger age, some people didn't experience that. So it's like all those things play hand in hand as well.
That is super real. And you don't even realize the leg up that you have or just like the privilege that comes along with certain parenting tactics just from your parents instilling confidence in you. And it's not something to be taken for granted from my perspective. Like, I feel like I want to be cognizant and grateful of that and not just be like, everybody has this, or like, I think
I love, and I love that. And I remember I went to BeautyCon and I saw Megan Thee Stallion speak in person. And, she said it. She was like, no one could tell me shit growing up. She said her grandma and her mom always told her she was pretty. She always had that. So it was just like, and it's crazy how those little things as far as like when you were a baby, what you were told when you were a kid, you think you don't remember, you kind of do.
It does. It makes a big difference. It's just instilled in you. Even if you don't cognitively remember, even if it's not in your memory, it's embedded in you. Mm-hmm. They've pumped you with confidence.
Exactly. So that's some good ways. So how do we fix this? Allow yourself to speak up and don't underestimate self-expression. I think self-expression is very, very powerful. You ever be somewhere and someone walk in dressed like them, like they self?
Yes.
And it's just like, even if like it ain't something you would personally wear, they being them, so it's like you have nothing but respect and like love for you, my admiration.
100%. My favorite thing is when I see somebody wearing something that like I wouldn't wear, but they don't look even slightly uncomfortable. I'd be like, absolutely, wear that, wear that. That's what I said. Yes, wear that.
Yeah, because you can have the flyest fit on, but when that confidence is lacking, it shows.
It's like, when you crouch down because you're uncomfortable. I remember one time. It's probably the summer, like my first summer home from college. I had braided my hair for the first time. I like didn't get braids as a child. I was like not into braids until college. I had braided my hair at home myself with the YouTube tutorial for the first time. And I went out to the mall and I felt so uncomfortable. And I didn't know it had to physically show on my body. This random stranger, this man came up to me and was like, "You look really beautiful," and I could tell he was telling me that because he could see on my body that I felt so uncomfortable. And I appreciated that for him, but that just goes to show people can see it. People can see the discomfort. Like, he really wanted to alleviate that discomfort. Or he was like, "Please, girl, like, you look so uncomfortable. Please take this compliment."
And we're run with it too.
Like, please.
And run with it. So it is time for the drink up segment. So if you're listening out there, please pull out some water and drink some water. And I got a drink up water fact for tonight. We're going to get you, Sequoia. So tonight's drink up water fact is, water is a great mouth cleaner because it washes away leftover food and residue that cavity-causing bacteria love to eat. The cavity-causing bacteria in your mouth love to eat sugar and produce acid that wears away teeth enamel, which is our outer shell of our teeth. It also dilutes the acids produced by the bacteria in your mouth. Drinking juice, soda, or sports drinks can leave unwanted sugar behind. This is from the University of Illinois, Chicago. So drink some water, rinse your mouth out. Summer coming. We're here with summer. Small got to be nice. And yeah, that was a drink up water fact for tonight. So now back to the episode. So Sequoia, who inspires you?
Ooh, Issa Rae inspires me a lot.
Ooh, yes.
First of all, I always tell my mom this. She inspires me so severely because I feel like a lot of people in my family think that I am breaking a lot of generational curses and that type of thing, when really it's my mom that broke a lot of those generational curses and passed the baton to me and made it easier for me not to have to get through those hurdles that she already broke. And I am so proud of her, so immensely grateful for her and the upbringing she was able to provide for me. Like, she really inspires me a lot. Just watching her growth. She just turned 60. Her birthday was like a couple days ago. And she just has continued growing and evolving when a lot of folks her age simply lean on, this is just how I am, because they think they're too old to change. I'm so proud of her. So yeah. Issa,
I love beautiful answer.
Thank you.
I know y'all was living it up in Costa Rica.
Oh yeah, we were shy.
Yes, girl. I love that. Was beautiful. Yeah, I love that. So it is time for the poet up segment. So y'all know I like to write poetry. This is a new added segment I added to SpeakUPJV. So I'm going to be sharing a quote or two from a poem in every episode. So tonight's poet up quote comes from my poem, "I Want to See a Black Woman Smile." So here I got a couple quotes. I got a couple of lines from it. So here we go. "I want to see a Black woman show her smile unapologetically and embrace the happiness that comes with it. It shouldn't be shadowed like the dark side of the moon, but shine like the powerful light of the stars." So
that's beautiful. Come on, Bernie. Come on, writer, podcaster, poet, all of it.
Thank y'all. I'll share the whole poem with you later. But yeah,
for sure.
Yes, I had to carve into tonight's episode. Two powerful Black women on a podcast tonight. So hope you guys enjoy. Good
smiles, both of us.
Good smiles and deep voices.
Yeah.
So that was a poet up for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to comment any poetry quotes y'all got. Y'all want me to include on the episode? I would love to hear them. So back to our episode. Where do you see your media career in 5 years? Go ahead and manifest it.
Ooh, hopefully I can expand Black People Love Paramore to a brand that is more than a podcast. I want to start throwing events and sell merch and just a whole other stuff. I want to do like a Black emo brunch, maybe a Black emo day party or evening party. Something like that. Just like, and it doesn't have to be emo necessarily, but just Black alternative things. Get into stuff like that. Maybe even like a music festival, stuff like that.
Oh, yes. I love that. Oh, I can't wait to witness that.
I hope. It's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, but fingers crossed, pay for me.
We look at fly doing it. No one look, okay?
Thank you.
And you manifesting it by saying it out loud. So there you go. It's coming to fruition, if I say the word right. So it is now time for the show up segment. This is also another new segment that I added to the podcast. So this is really a question for myself and for you. So I'll start first. How did I show up for myself this week? So I think this is important because, you know, we focus so much on what happened to us in the negative way during the week. Oh, it was a rough week. But how did you show up for yourself this week? You know, I think that's very important. I would say the way I showed up for myself this week, I did what I wanted to do. And I say that because this was a long weekend that just passed, you know, got a few extra days off, which was lovely. But I listened to me. I said no to things. I said yes to things. And that's me kind of showing up. Usually I let other people get in my ear about what I should and shouldn't do and when I should. So I kind of just did what I wanted and felt good about it and just was happy. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you, Sequoia, how did you show up for yourself this week?
Oh my God. First of all, I love that answer. Congratulations. Listening to you is so much harder than people think it is. We just have so much outside shit from social media, from friends, family all the time. That is hard to listen to you. So great answer. I show up for myself by prioritizing my health this week. I went boxing this morning for my birthday, which was a few weeks back. My boyfriend got me this ring that I asked for. It's an Oura ring.
Oh, let me make the screen big for that.
It is. It'll take your body temperature. You wear it when you sleep. It monitors how many hours of sleep you got, how much time you spent in REM sleep, deep sleep, light sleep, all that stuff. It'll tell you. It can predict when your period's coming based on your body temperature, all that stuff. So it's like an Apple Watch, but in a ring form, and just a little bit more metrics that you get with it. It can monitor your workouts and all that stuff. So I've been prioritizing my sleep using my Oura ring, and I've been working out, trying to do my thing.
Yes, looking lovely, by the way.
Thank you. You too. I know you be on your workout shit.
Girl, trying to get it right.
Me too. Now. Me too.
Yeah, so back to the episode, end of the day, y'all embrace who you are. I think this is really what the theme of this episode is for tonight. So Sequoia, me and Jen both like to ask guests fun questions every time. So this is your fun question for tonight. What's the funniest reaction that someone has had to your deep voice?
You know what? This is one. My roommate Tommy. I have this roommate, or I had this roommate. So we're to say had in past tense. Me and my roommate lived together for 10 years. We started as randomly assigned roommates in college, and we just for the 10 years after that lived together, even after college and all that stuff. We just moved out in December. Tommy was with me when this took place. And I had told my mom and Tommy this before, and nobody believed me. I told my boyfriend, nobody believed me. I was on hold with somebody, and I had them on speakerphone, and they transferred me over to a different department. Somebody said hello, and I said hi, whatever. And they were like, hi, sir, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that happens to me sometimes. My mom, Tommy, my boyfriend, they're like, your voice is not that deep that somebody called you sir. Tommy heard this woman call me sir and was dying laughing on the floor. Because I'm like, yeah, that was the funniest reaction. People be doing that sometimes.
Oh, the phone is the worst.
Yeah.
It's the phone for me, yeah, because I've had that too. Someone thought I was a guy too. It's like, oh, okay, that was a good answer. Oh, I was curious, what's she gonna say for this one? Okay, that was a nice, funny, fun answer.
Yeah.
So it is now time for the wrap-up segment. So honestly, how does this relate to self-love? Self-love is loving yourself enough to embrace who you are, to stand out, to not be afraid to stand out, to giving yourself the voice and not allowing yourself to be silent. So, as I repeated through this whole episode, those things go hand in hand together for that purpose, for that creative side. So Sequoia, how do you practice self-love?
By expressing myself unequivocally all the time.
Yes.
Saying what I mean, meaning what I say. Yeah. Showing up for myself. Yeah. Making sure. Yeah. I feel like I'm somebody that when I give my word, I really try my hardest to stick to that word. And I kind of falter a little bit with that when it comes to myself. I'm way more likely to stick to my word that I gave to somebody else than my own. And I'm really trying real hard to be better about that lately.
Look, and we're all growing at the end of the day. So having that list of things we're trying to improve.
Yeah.
Doing it. So this is a question that I like to ask every guest. Manifest it. What do you want to be remembered for?
Ooh, I want to be remembered for helping people and making people feel like they belong, like they matter, like their voice means something, that they can say what they need to say, even if it is incorrect, and that they are not trash because they said something wrong or something.
I love you. You're already doing it.
Thank you.
So remember, you guys, you are enough. And you deserve to feel seen. We're enough to be seen.
Yeah.
I feel like too, if anyone is in your corner trying to dim your light, obviously the light's so bright. That's why they're trying to dim it.
Very much that. Very much that.
You enough, okay? So I want to throw that out there as a nice wrap-up sentence for tonight's episode. But Sequoia, it was so nice having you on here. I'm so glad we finally got to collab and more to come. We're gonna put that out there. But before we go, can you go ahead and shout out where can people find your platform, find you, your Instagrams, all that?
Yes, you can find me across all social media platforms at Sequoia B Holmes, and you can find my podcast across all social media platforms at BPLP Pod. And you can listen to the podcast literally anywhere you listen to podcasts, including YouTube.
Woo! Yeah, so y'all heard that. Make sure y'all tap in and allow yourself to feel seen, okay?
Yeah.
And I appreciate you tapping into the newest spinoff show, SpeakUPJV Now, episode 17. Before we go, quick shout out to my amazing sponsors. Shout out to My Bar, located at 720 East Manchester in Inglewood, California. Get your nails, your lashes, your hair done. Ask for mine. Tell them that SpeakUPJV sent you. The Instagram is at nyy.bar. And also shout out to Be Actual Natural. Why settle for less? All their products are created with you in mind. For a go to let your self-love show through your self-care. The chemical-free hair and skincare products are handmade, plant-based, and free of fillers or preservatives. Treat yourself by taking care of yourself. Start your journey at www.beactualnatural.com. And Instagram is at beactualnatural. But thank you, girl, for stopping by. This was amazing. And everyone out there listening, I'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, SpeakUPJV's Global. Y'all know what to do. I got a giveaway coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And make sure you check out Sequoia's podcast and her content. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.